Hi, I'm Heather French Henry, the host of Heart of Gold, a monthly program whose mission is to highlight examples of what makes Louisville, Kentucky the most compassionate city in the world. Compassion can take on many forms, ranging from individual acts of kindness to large-scale nonprofit organizations. This series features local nonprofit organizations of all shapes and sizes, which are working to improve the quality of life for all Louisville citizens. Thank you for joining us, and special thanks to WHAS TV for generously producing this series. Our first segment features a charity which has touched the lives of 3 generations of children with special needs in Kentucky and southern Indiana. We're talking about the WHAS Crusade for Children, of course, and joining us is Crusade CEO Don Lee. Hello, how are you?
Heather, great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely, and you look so springy too. Perfect time of year. That's excellent. You have such a great thing going on right now. So we want to welcome Don. This is the 62nd year for the Crusade, an amazing accomplishment for anyone who isn't familiar with the WHAS Crusade for Children. So give us an overview of the Crusade and its purpose, Don.
Well, actually, it was 1952 that Ralph Hansen, who was the program manager, agreed to do a cerebral palsy telethon. And they worked really hard. They raised about $115,000, and then they did that again in 1953. And half of the money ended up going to other places. Part of it went to a national organization, part of it went to overhead. And Barry Bingham and Vic Scholas, who were over the station here, said, we want to keep the money local. We want to have 100% of all the money raised go to local agencies right here and help kids who have special needs. So here we are 62 years later, and we're still helping children with special needs right here in all 120 counties of Kentucky and 50 counties in southern Indiana.
Well, that's amazing. And you flash forward, and tell everyone what your generosity has raised for the 61st edition.
Well, with the help of firefighters, businesses, schools, and we have kids out with lemonade stands, everything you can imagine. And with all their help, this past year we raised over $5.6 million. And when you total all that up through all the years, we're over $160 million that has been coming back right to our kids here who need help if they have special needs.
Oh my goodness, that's tremendous. And the firefighters are really the ones that we think of first when it comes to raising money for the Crusade, right?
Absolutely, and that's the way it should be because they work so hard for the Crusade. And it was PRP who was the first department to collect, our Pleasure Ridge Park Fire Department, who is still working hard on behalf of the Crusade. And Fire Chief Ernie Bowler in 1956 brought in $400, and when he brought that in, he challenged other fire departments to try and beat it. So the cool thing is, for the last several years, Pleasure Ridge Park has raised right at $300,000 every year.
That's an amazing tradition. Well, the question for many is who decides where the money raised goes for the Crusade, and we'll get to that, but first we want to show everyone what their generosity to WHAS Crusade for Children is accomplishing.
When she was born, she weighed 1 pound 3 ounces, and we knew she was going to have some difficulties.
At birth, Peyton Higdon faced issues with her lungs and stomach. Both were underdeveloped. With intensive care from the physicians and nurses at Corsair Children's Hospital, she was holding her own, but still very fragile.
She was 2 weeks old, and the doctors had told us they had done all they could do for her, and she probably wasn't going to make it, and they were going to let us hold her before she passed away.
The family was devastated, but didn't give up hope.
With a lot of prayer through family and friends, I think it was 2 days later after they told us that, they came back and they said, looked like a miracle, said she had completely turned around and was doing good.
Okay, let's get on the swing and play. All the way up.
These days, 5-year-old Peyton gets help through a Hardin Memorial Hospital program funded by the Crusade.
We're working on making Peyton's belly muscles stronger and helping her to be able to control her body when she shifts her weight.
Peyton is also working on her eating and language skills with speech pathologist Jackie Thomas.
All the way to the edge.
In her short 5 years, Peyton has endured several surgeries. Recently, doctors removed her trach. Her feeding tube will be next. Her dad carries a book of photographs to remind both Peyton and himself how far this miracle baby has come.
Sometimes I have a bad day and you open your book up and the day seems a lot brighter.
Melissa Swan, WHAS 11 News.
Manager of Outpatient Rehab Services Jim Coursey says Crusade grants give Hard Memorial the tools they need to help children like Peyton fulfill their potential. Since 2002, Hard Memorial Hospital has received $230,000 in Crusade funding to help children with special needs. Now, Don, the Crusade has long-term partnerships throughout Kentucky and southern Indiana. Each year, those groups make their grant proposals, and who decides which grants get funded?
Well, that truly difficult decision, luckily, is not made by us. We have a group of ministers. They're ministers, rabbis, and priests who come together and they meet with every grant applicant. So that's 222 meetings we had in April and May, and March and April. And the difficult thing is we never raise as much money as we have requests. This year we have $11 million in requests, and so they've got to make that difficult decision of where the money's going to go.
It certainly can be a difficult decision when you've got so many qualified people and projects asking, I'm sure. And the Crusade Advisory Panel is the only one of the boards which is part of the management structure of the Crusade. You have a main board and the endowment board, but first let's talk a little about the Crusade's main board. You have a special thank you for its outgoing president.
We do, because Father Joe Graffis, who serves on the advisory council and helps make those difficult decisions, he became a member of the board and agreed to serve as our board chair for 1 year. He said, I can only do it for 1 year. I'm getting ready for retirement. And 6 years later, I'm so grateful that he was willing to continue to re-up. And he said this year, I'm really, truly done. And he has worked tirelessly for the Crusade and does such a fabulous job. So we want to say thank you to Father Joe Graffis, and certainly a welcome to Dr. Maureen Norris, who will be coming in his place.
Well, certainly a thank you well deserved. Well, coming up, we'll talk more about the Crusade, including how it manages to give out 100% of the total board total each year. But we first want to show you exactly how important everyone's generosity to the Crusade truly is.
Fish or a penguin? Are you thinking? You are right. We have been learning about penguins. Good job.
7-year-old Cannell Churchill is facing several learning and physical challenges. He's getting help through the programs at the Churchill Park School, a school dedicated to educating children with special needs.
Churchill Park serves students that are considered low incidence, and that is their incidence of learning is very low. Many of our students are nonverbal, working on verbal skills.
Can we touch lights? Good job, Cannell. You can have lights.
Cannell is nonverbal. Speech therapist Abigail Ramser works with him to develop communication skills.
He's working on his ability to use one hand to touch the picture of lights. Once he hits that picture, which is a visual cue for him, he then has to hit the switch, which is a Crusade switch, that gives him the auditory cue as well as the visual cue of what he's receiving. Good job! You get the lights.
And thanks to everyone's generosity to the Crusade, Cannell and his fellow students at Churchill Park have the tools they need to continue to learn and grow.
We have many standers and other apparatus that serve kids and help them. You're also going to see that we have assistive devices that help our kids communicate. Throughout our school, there's many different devices that the Crusade has purchased for us and that we use daily.
Melissa Swan, WHAS 11 News.
The Crusade's partnership with Jefferson County Public Schools goes back to 1970. Since that time, JCPS has received more than $9 million in Crusade funding, which has helped tens of thousands of children with special needs. An amazing story which highlights the real good that can be accomplished with everyone's generous support. Part of the Crusade's enduring legacy is the ability to give 100% of the money on the tote board back out to the agencies and organizations which serve children with special needs. Don, how does the Crusade do that? And, first of all, how do you structure that to make sure that it's all given?
Well, we are very, very fortunate in that we have a lot of businesses and companies who make contributions in kind for us. And that certainly applies to WHAS TV, who gives us our home here and allows us to have the telethon every year. So those kind of gifts mean so much to us. And then also the board decided in 2003 that we were going to start an endowment. And that for us has allowed us to make sure that 100% still goes back, and will continue to go back, because this year we're going to put some money on our tote board from the endowment.
Oh, that's excellent. Well, the Crusade has a truly special way to grow its endowment. So tell us about the Kentucky Specialty License Plate.
Oh my gosh, we are so thrilled that this license plate got approved by the state of Kentucky, and that was a process in and of itself. But we have to have 900 applications before they will actually go into being produced. So we're hoping that people will apply and show their interest so that we can tell the state, yes, indeed, we have the interest. So we hope people will go on our website, WHAScrusade.org, or give us a call, because for $25, you can help us make sure that people will be able to sport this license plate around Kentucky and show their support for the Crusade.
And that is money well spent.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, the Crusade also has another way to raise money for the endowment, which gives everyone the opportunity to honor a loved one or an important occasion they'd like to remember in a special way.
If you want to honor your mother, you can do that, like the family of Teresa Abrams. You can honor your school, like the good folks at Bloomfield Elementary. You can even have a little bit of fun by honoring your pets, like Happy Trails, paying tribute to Charlie and Rusty. And all of this is possible thanks to a new partnership with our good friends at the Keith Monument Company. When Stephen Keith of the Keith Monument Company heard that the Crusade was in need of a brick engraver, he quickly volunteered his family's services.
Our family has been part of this community since 1867. And so we are trying to find a way of giving back to the community. This is a great way to honor your loved ones and raise money for children.
In the Crusade tradition, this is a family affair. Stephen's brother, Marshall, manages the production of the bricks and other large-scale monuments. The WHAS Crusade Walk of Fame has a twofold purpose.
First, you can honor a loved one or a special occasion, and second, you're going to help children with special needs by giving to the Crusade Endowment, which protects the Crusade for many years to come.
To place a specially engraved brick on the Crusade Walk of Fame is just $100. To place a block will cost you $500. Andy Trinan, WHAS 11 News.
Well, that story certainly begs the question, how do I get a brick or a block on the Crusade Walk of Fame, Ms. Dawn?
Well, once again, we have the forms on our website, or you can call our office at 582-7706. And the red bricks that you saw, the typical size bricks, are $100. And then the larger blocks, which are 12 by 12, they're $500. And it's such a wonderful way to say thank you to people. We have some that are out there for nurses that took care of these little babies, and they chose to thank them by getting bricks. We have people who've passed on that they're being remembered, and just people who are being honored for a job well done. So all kind of reasons.
Well, tell me about the Crusade 62 headliner. Is that something to know about?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We are so excited about Crusade this year because magician Matt King, who is coming in from Las Vegas to do his show here for us.
Oh, great.
And he's, again, the generosity of Crusade people. He is flying himself in and will do this show. He has Kentucky roots, and so he wants to be part of the Crusade, and it is going to be a fabulous comedy magic show.
What about May 31st? I hear you have something special.
We do. There's Crusade stuff going all throughout the year, and May 31st we're going to be kicking off, well, for us, another kickoff event for Crusade Weekend, and we're going to have all kind of fun family activities down at 4th Street Live, and so we hope people will be paying attention and watching our website for specifics on that event.
Tell me one special moment for you working with Crusade.
Oh my gosh, for me it has been, when I started at the Crusade, we had Lane and Joel Wilkins were born, twins, and they have several bricks out in front of our building, and they were needing a lot of extra care when they were little teeny babies, and so now they are 6. They're in school and they're doing so well, and it's when you see these kids do well.
The fruits of your labor, certainly. Dawn, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be right back with another nonprofit agency which is celebrating 30 years of service to visually impaired preschoolers. It actually began with a grant from the WHAS Crusade for Children. We'll introduce you to some of these special youngsters when Heart of Gold continues.